trades for round 6. I am almost set. I think I'm pretty good for Supercoach, and I'm 19 and a half hours out from lockout there, and it's between a couple of guys for my trade from Humphreys in Fantasy. And for the update on the tour, we've just taken the train to Siena. It all went pretty smoothly today, and again, some more good food and some getting lost as well. Lost walking around, which is always fun, but a beautiful, beautiful town. So the squad, we have traded Jack Cole to Dylan Egan, and that's given us a little bit of cash to play with, the 127k there. And there are a few guys that I am looking at, and a big shout out to Adam in the private crew who mentioned there that I was looking at guys like Couchman, and he's still very much an option. But he's like, well, if you bring Couchman in come round 12, which is 6 rounds away now, I'm going to be sitting there with 5 out of my 6 mids not available, and 2 short. And yes, we've got lots of time to potentially make trades to get to that, but you do need to look at your players and see, are they going to be available and ready? Are you going to be selling those guys as well? And I think that's a really good way to get into this video. And I've got Isaiah Yeo and Payne Haas, 2 Origin guys. We've got Terrell May, who we're definitely keeping through that time. He's a chance of being in Origin, but he misses round 12 anyway. Connor Watson, his team does play in round 12, but he's a good chance of being the 14, I think, in Origin. Unless maybe he's coming back from injury or something's happening there. They might not select him, but he's going to be out. We do have Horsburgh available, and Hubner's going to be out as well for the mids that I currently own. And then if I was to bring in Couchman, they unfortunately miss round 12 as well. So the question's going to be for myself is someone like Couchman a player that you think you can hold all year? And if so, it's probably still worth picking him up this week. If you're like, well, maybe he averages like 53 or something like that, it's 5 points of value, and he helps me out, but you're probably moving him on eventually down the track, and you can't see the high 50s average that he's currently, putting out there at that nice price point as well, that, he's sitting at that 48, that price point. That's kind of the question. And then do you trade coming into round 10, 11, 12 to get the full starting 13? Because remember, guys, that's how it works. It's just your starting 13, nothing to do with your interchange. And you can do some looping and stuff, but if you want to keep it really simple, your starting 13, you have to fill every one of those positions. So that's where you're saying I would only have one mid, being Corey Horsburgh, as a player for me in round 12, which can be tough. And in most positions at this point, I think it's fine. But in the mid position, when you've got guys like Haas, Yeo, May, who you're very unlikely to sell during the Origin period, then it's like, well, I then have to buy a couple more mids. And there's a heap of options that are available. They're just not in my team right now. Adam Fanua-Blake, he's in my thoughts this week as a guy that can score really well. He's averaging 57, and you're getting him in at a price point, about that 55. And he's a guy you're going to be able to hold all year. Looks like his role's awesome. And, speaking about in the round 6 buyers video, he was probably one of the guys I was most excited about, given his PPM has been terrific. So he's one I'm looking at, and I'd be spending another 100 odd K getting him. I'm not getting too much value on his price point. He's just had the one try, and he'll probably score this week. But he's someone I'm definitely looking at for Jamie Humphreys and the trade, which would help me out in that midsection. And bloody Adam, he's making me think a bit too much on holidays, given I'm away for the 2.5 weeks or so from here. It's going to be hard to have the time there to get the spreadsheet up and lock the 13 players in and get that set up. But an easy thing to do, actually, guys, is just to jump over to footystatistics.com. And when you go into here, you can see at the top there, you've got the 2025 buy planner. And all you have to do is pop your team in, and it will give you, apart from the Origin stuff, it'll let you know where you're at. Thankfully, I don't have to scroll too far back with the JBFA into 2036. But over to round 12, and you can click guys for Origin and things like that. But for round 12, the guys in position right now, as you can see, my MPRs there, they're all available. And then the bench, Watson, but you'd click him and say that he's an Origin guy as well. I think you can work it out anyway. But Yeah, and it says Yo is available, but he'll be in Origin. So you can just have a quick look, and even just an edge. So a quick and easy one for me is I'm looking at Preston as a good buy for my side. But if Wong and Nicholson stay the same and continue to score really well, they could be two players that I want to hold and play in round 12. And therefore, do I actually need Preston coming into next week? So they're the kind of interesting things you do need to look at over the next bunch of weeks. And as I said, upon return, I'll do the big buy planning video, which will cover not just round 12, it'll go from round 12 all the way through to the end of round 19 when we get into normal programming again. So that'll be cool. But just having a little bit of an eye on that round 12, because still to this day, 12, 15, and 18 will be the hardest. You can see there I actually have every single person available for round 13, which is pretty wild. And the same for round 16. How's that working right now? That can't be true, can it? Okay, and then 19, I have a heap out. 1, 2, 4, 6. That's actually wild. That can't be. Is that true? There you go. There you go. So that's something there I can look at as a bunch of guys, because we don't actually need all of these guys in round 13. You only need 13 players out of your 21. So looking at guys in there, they could be players that could be moved on for someone that helps you out in around 12, and 15 is a position that I'm struggling with as well. Whereas the minor buys there, 13, 16, will be very, very easy for my side to fill a 13. We can look at, I've got a couple of Titans players, Brimson, Campbell. We've got the Tigers guys, they'll be out. We also have the South boys in round 12 as well, plus the Origin guys. So there's definitely plenty to think about for my side. I've got Cleary, Yo, Haas, all going to be missing as well. And Connor Watson there as well. So yeah, plenty to think about with round 12. And I think it should start to come into your thoughts from here on out. So the three options for me this week, I'm going to keep it short and sharp there. With the three, it is AFB, it is Fogarty to help out in halfback. But you see here I've moved Campbell up to half. And that's given me a chance to just use the wing fullbacks that I do own. I have Brimson, Tamale, Jenkins, and Yongi. Humphreys, if I'm selling to Fogarty, he'll move up into that. Could potentially just move up into that starting side, and I leave out like a Brimson, a Tamale, one of those guys. Even though Tamale's up against the Eels with Lomax out as well. Yeah, do we leave out as many of the wing fullbacks as we can? They can all score well, but they can also have the low one in them. And guys like Seyfarth, does he stick in your interchange as well? Well, I'll do a little bit of you would have actually just seen the video I did going through how to pick your bench this week. But as you can see there, 46s for a lot of the guys last week, and you can pick any of them and they could come out and hit a lower one, like what we see with the outside backs. They can hit the lower one, and then with the forwards, they have that more opportunity to be a pretty consistent type scorer. But you can get a little bit luckier with Yongi and Purdue going 59 and 60, 61. Whereas these middle forwards are probably going to sit somewhere in the 30 odd to 45 range there. So it's more around that risk taking for you. So yeah, AFB, Couchman, and Fogarty are the secondary trade that I'm looking at. One leaves me with 11K in the bank. The others leave me with about 60 or about the 110. So pretty good spot for my trades there. Okay. My little thoughts around my Supercoach side. Thomas Kant comes into the side, and unfortunately, Guymer has to leave. Probably, when I say unfortunately, I kind of just wanted to leave him as the cheapie in there. I've got Hubner making money. It's fine, I think, to have Guymer, and I've got Simpkins in there, both as non-players, one in each position, in front row forward and second row forward. But Guymer's going to come out. It continues the cash rolling, which is awesome. I think I'm near 14 million at the moment. So he comes out for Thomas, and I'll play him this week, I think. I've actually got Nafahu White sitting on the bench right now with Tino out with Preston as well. And the reason I'm going Nafahu White on the bench is I think I'm going to play Jackson Purdue, Tamale. Shibazaki might be played as well. I kind of want to play Purdue and Tamale over Shiba. And the question's going to be, do I lock in and play Nafahu White over one of these outside backs? Let me know in the comments what you would do personally. But Shiba has a bunch of really good games there, and an 83 and a 116. And in amongst that, it's been some lower type scores. And how's he going to go against the Roosters? That's the question. So I think I have to work out who I'm playing between him and also Nafahu White. But my second trade this week, it was going to be between selling one of Mamazelis or Starling and moving Sandon Smith up to hooker. And again, let me know your thoughts around this. And then I'd be bringing in Jerome Hughes, which would use the majority of my excess capital, which I was sitting at 372. That was one option, and I think it's a pretty solid one. But I can also leave those guys, and I've got just at least have that option with the hooking position to keep going there. Sandon Smith could be my sole hooker in round 12, which again, it doesn't matter too much when you've got 26 players in Supercoach, but I think Starling goes pretty well this week against Eels, so I'm happy to just lock in on that one. Potentially use one of those guys next week once they've potentially made a little bit more cash or they're done making cash. And instead, I've gone Brimson to Cam Munster. Brimo looked a little bit better last week, but I just don't think he has the upside. He's just not getting enough good footy. And right now, Munster's the play for me. I've locked that in for now. And yeah, Hughes, I think we could get over the next few weeks. He should probably go down a little bit more in price and be a good target next week. Cleary's the vice captain. Will I actually lock in Gutho as captain this week against the Titans at home on Friday night? That's gonna be the question for me. I've got Eli Katoa, I've got Ponga, Marzu. Hopefully some better games for those few guys against the Tigers this week. A nice finish compared to last week would be delightful, and some big rank gains would be awesome. So that's my squad going into this week, guys. Some people are selling Garrick, but I think he's a hold for now. And yes, comes up against some tougher opponents, but yeah, they're at Optus Stadium out in Perth, I believe, Optus. Yeah, so neutral venue. They should bounce back and play a little bit better. Sharks have been losing as well, so it's not like they're the formidable team that we thought they might be. So there you go, guys. That's the trades for the week. Got a couple of guys out. Big sit and start decisions with guys like White or Shiba. The reason I've gone for those guys down below in the center wings is just that upside for now. So we'll leave it there, guys. That's the trades for the week. Good luck heading into the game tonight.